This is how I make the Jilbab Khimar. I start by printing out my pattern. This is found on my Etsy. I will link in the description below. And then I go ahead and lay it down on my fabric pieces. My fabric wasn't wide enough to have the full length of the khimar, so I went ahead and just laid it on the selvage edge, and I'll just give it a center back seam. So again, if your fabric isn't wide enough for the full length to be cut on fold, just go ahead and sew it on the other side and simply just give it a seam. Next up, I began cutting the fabric pieces out. This was pretty easy, I have to say. Of all the patterns I've ever made, this was the easiest cut ever. Now for the sleeve cuff part, I used a cotton jersey, making sure that I go in the direction of the stretch, and just cut those in 2 pieces. Now we're gonna start with the middle panel of the jilbab, and for this we're gonna measure our jaw just from one end to the next and make sure that it ends up matching the top middle panel of the khimar. So you're gonna stretch that elastic from edge to edge and give it a zigzag stitch or a serger stitch where you have the elastic facing the back of the fabric, the wrong side. This way when you fold it inwards again, it just gives a nice clean hem. I'll show you in a second. So right here, when after you serge the elastic on, you give it a fold and then zigzag or straight stitch this edge right here. It gives a really clean, stretched feeling. Look, it just looks perfectly gathered. I'm obsessed with this technique. Look at how evenly gathered that looks. The zigzag stitch with elastic works wonders. So here again, I am folding it over onto the wrong side and then zigzag stitching. So clean, so neat, so very pretty. So starting from the head part of the khimar, you will see this notch right here. There's 2 sets of notches, so the bottom one is what you're gonna line up the middle panel to. So you're gonna line up the top of the middle panel to the second or the bottom line, the bottom notch, and then you're gonna straight stitch down. I went ahead and serged all my edges for both sides and the middle panel. That way when I close that seam, I have like 2 sides to press open, not just one. I think this gives a cleaner look. So again, remember I cut my khimar piece in 2, so I have 2 giant pieces, and when you stitch the middle panel together in the middle, it should be looking like that. So I just go ahead and flip that over, pin it down one side, right sides together. I straight stitch that. Remember, both edges have already been serged, so I don't need to finish after I sew. And now this is what you should have. This is how the middle panel should look. Go ahead and iron that seam. So now I'm closing up this center back with just a simple straight stitch, and I just serge the edge to make sure it's nice and clean. Then I go ahead and give it a press. So right here is the head tie. You're gonna serge the whole thing all around, or zigzag stitch, however you finish, you're gonna finish it. But you're only gonna hem the 2 short sides and 1 long side. You're gonna leave the other side open. Now bring your khimar piece, and you're gonna find the center of the back, which in my case happens to be the seam line. You're gonna match up the middle of the head tie to that back part, making sure the right sides are facing together, and just give that a pin in place. Next, you're gonna look for another notch that you marked above where the panel piece, the middle panel piece was attached to. So you're gonna mark and pin in place right there at that notch. This is where the head tie stitching will end. After you've stitched that together, you're gonna give that a press, open both sides of the seam nice and wide, and top stitch both sides, and also go ahead and close up that corner with a top stitch as well. So you've stitched all the way around. Again, close up this little corner with a top stitch. You can go all the way around on the head and sew that seam allowance. Give it a nice top stitch. It looks so very neat and professional. It's stunning. And when you do the other side that goes into the head tie piece, you're gonna just fold that over once and give it a nice straight stitch, then give it an iron as well, of course. At this point, the head tie piece is finally attached, and you can basically put that in your head. Just hem the bottom, you have just a khimar without sleeves. So now I had to come outside to show you where to do the sleeve notches. It was too dark in the inside, so I could not record properly. So you go to the bottom part of the pattern, where you see those notches. You simply match up the middle notch to the middle of the sleeve and give that a straight stitch. Now from this seam right here, you're gonna sew from that mark to the edge of the sleeve. So after you sew the sleeve, you're gonna just go from the hem of the sleeve right there, turn and go down straight to that notch. That's what you're doing, okay? Then this is what the jilbab looks like when it's all spread on your floor and finished. Of course, you go ahead and hem as you normally would. And there you go, the finished Jilbab Khimar. It's so easy to make yourself. Once you give it a go the first time, it's very easy to do over and over again. You can make yourself all the jilbabs that you want and become the jilbab girl of your dreams. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and make your own. Give me a tag if you do, and send me any questions if you have one. And here is some footage of the first jilbab I made. Look how pretty that is. The fabric is bubble crepe and looks so beautiful. And yeah, I've worn this so much over the years. All right, bye.